The morning started the way so many had before. Jennifer Collins woke at 5:30, made coffee in the small kitchen of her apartment, and checked on her son. 8-year-old Ryan was still asleep, his brown hair falling across his forehead, his breathing soft and even. The bandage wrapped around his head was clean, changed just before bed the night before. Jennifer stood in the doorway watching him for a moment, doing the mental calculation she'd done 100 times already. 3 more weeks until the bandage could come off. 3 more weeks of careful monitoring for signs of infection or complications. 3 more weeks of a little boy who'd been through more than any child should have to endure. She touched the doorframe gently, as if grounding herself, then went to get ready for work. At 52, Jennifer had worked at Meridian Financial for almost 15 years. She was the executive assistant to the regional director, a position she'd earned through competence, reliability, and the kind of quiet efficiency that made everything run smoothly without anyone quite noticing how much work went into it. She arrived early, stayed late when needed, and never missed a deadline. But today was going to be different. Today, she had no choice but to break one of the company's most rigid rules. At 6:30, she woke Ryan gently. "Hey, sweetheart. Time to get up." He opened his eyes, wincing slightly. The headaches were getting better. The doctor had said, but they still came and went. "Do I have to go to school?" he asked hopefully. "Not today, but you do have to come to work with me." Ryan sat up carefully, his hand moving automatically to touch the bandage. "Mom, are you sure? You said your boss doesn't like kids in the office." "He doesn't," Jennifer admitted, helping him out of bed. "But Mrs. Patterson called in sick this morning. She was supposed to watch you, and there's no one else available on such short notice." Mrs. Patterson was their neighbor, a kind widow in her 70s who'd been watching Ryan after school for the past 2 years. She'd been a godsend during Ryan's recovery from the surgery, but this morning she'd called Jennifer with a terrible cough and a fever, apologizing profusely for the timing. Jennifer had called every backup she could think of. Her sister was out of state on business, the after-school program Ryan usually attended couldn't take him during regular school hours. The hospital's childcare was full. She'd even called her ex-husband, though she'd known before dialing that he wouldn't answer. He never did when it actually mattered. So here they were. Ryan getting dressed in his blue hoodie and jeans, Jennifer helping him with his shoes, both of them preparing to walk into a situation that could very well cost Jennifer her job. They arrived at Meridian Financial just before 8. The building was all glass and steel, modern and imposing, the kind of place that looked expensive even from the parking lot. Jennifer held Ryan's hand as they walked through the lobby, her heart pounding despite her outward calm. "Remember," she told him quietly as they rode the elevator to the 4th floor, "you need to be very quiet. I'll set you up in the conference room with your tablet and some books. If you need anything, come find me, but try to stay in there, okay?" "Okay, Mom." The office was just beginning to fill when they arrived. Jennifer saw Sarah from accounting do a double-take when she noticed Ryan, saw Tom from operations raise his eyebrows, but no one said anything and Jennifer moved quickly, unlocking the small conference room adjacent to her workspace and settling Ryan at the table. "I'll check on you every hour," she promised. "There are snacks in this bag and your water bottle. If your head hurts, I'll tell you right away," Ryan finished. "I know, Mom, I'll be okay." Jennifer kissed the top of his head, careful of the bandage, and reluctantly left him there. For the first 2 hours, everything went smoothly. Jennifer worked through emails, prepared documents for an afternoon meeting, coordinated schedules. She checked on Ryan at 8:30 and again at 9:30. He was absorbed in a book, his tablet beside him, content in the quiet space. At 10 o'clock, her phone rang. The caller ID showed her boss's extension, and Jennifer's stomach dropped. "Jennifer, can you come to my office, please?" Richard Morrison's voice was clipped, formal. "Of course. I'll be right there." She glanced toward the conference room, where she could just see Ryan through the glass wall, then made her way down the hall to Morrison's corner office. Richard Morrison was a man in his late 50s who wore expensive suits and practiced a management style that could best be described as rigid control. He believed in rules, procedures, and maintaining professional boundaries. He was good at his job, but he wasn't known for flexibility or compassion. He stood by his window when Jennifer entered, his back to her, looking out over the city below. "Close the door," he said. Jennifer did. I've been informed that you brought your child to work today. Yes, sir. My regular child care fell through at the last minute, and I had no other options. I've set him up in the conference room. He's very quiet, and he won't disturb anyone. I understand this isn't ideal, but nothing, Morrison interrupted, turning to face her. You know company policy. No children in the workplace. It's a liability issue. It's unprofessional, and it sets a precedent that I can't allow. I understand that, but this is an unusual circumstance. My son just had surgery 3 weeks ago. He still needs monitoring. I couldn't leave him alone. Surgery? Morrison's expression didn't soften. That's unfortunate, but it doesn't change the policy. You should have called in sick. Taken personal leave. I've used all my sick days for his surgery and recovery, Jennifer said, fighting to keep her voice steady. And I have important deadlines today. The Henderson report is due at 2, and the budget presentation can be handled by someone else, Morrison said. Jennifer, I'm sorry, but you need to take your son and go home. You're suspended for the rest of the week without pay. We'll review the situation on Monday and determine if further disciplinary action is necessary. The words hit Jennifer like a physical blow. Suspended, without pay. She thought about her bank account, already depleted from medical bills, about the rent due next week, about Ryan's follow-up appointment, that she'd have to pay for out of pocket because the insurance deductible was so high. Mr. Morrison, please, I need this job. I'll make sure Ryan doesn't cause any problems. You won't even know he's here. It's not about whether he causes problems. It's about maintaining standards. Now, please collect your things and leave the building. Jennifer stood there for a moment, her mind racing through options that didn't exist. She could argue more, but Morrison's expression told her it would be futile. She could beg, but that would only make things worse. She could cry, but she'd learned long ago that tears changed nothing. I understand, she said quietly. I'll gather my things. She walked back to her desk in a daze, aware of curious looks from her co-workers. Some looked sympathetic. Others looked away, not wanting to get involved. Jennifer methodically shut down her computer, gathered her purse and the lunch she'd packed. Then she went to the conference room to get Ryan. He looked up when she entered, immediately sensing something was wrong. Mom, what's wrong? We need to go, sweetheart. Something's come up. Did I get you in trouble? His face crumpled. I'm sorry, Mom. I tried to be really quiet. You were perfect, Jennifer said, her voice breaking slightly. This isn't your fault. Not even a little bit. Come on, let's get your things. They were halfway to the elevator when Jennifer heard raised voices coming from Morrison's office. She paused, recognizing Morrison's voice and another she didn't know. A woman's voice, firm and authoritative. I don't care what your policy is, Richard. What I care about is how you treat your employees. Miss Chen, with all due respect, you've only been with the company for 3 days. You're not familiar with how we operate here. I'm familiar enough to know that rigidity in the face of human need isn't leadership. It's cruelty. Jennifer should have kept walking. Should have taken Ryan and left before she witnessed whatever confrontation was unfolding. But something made her stop, made her wait. Morrison's office door opened. A woman emerged, blonde hair swept back, wearing a pale pink blazer over jeans. She looked to be in her mid-40s, and she carried herself with the kind of confidence that came from genuine authority, rather than borrowed power. This, Jennifer realized, must be Catherine Chen, the new CEO. She'd been hired 2 weeks ago, but had been traveling to various regional offices. This was her first full day at their location. Catherine spotted Jennifer and Ryan standing by the elevator and walked toward them. Morrison followed, his face flushed. Are you Jennifer Collins? Catherine asked. Yes, ma'am. And this is your son? Ryan, yes. Catherine crouched down, bringing herself to Ryan's eye level. Hi, Ryan. That's quite a bandage you have. What happened? Ryan glanced at his mother, uncertain. Jennifer nodded gently. I had surgery, Ryan said. They had to fix something in my head, He looked at Jennifer again. An arteriovenous malformation, Jennifer supplied. It's a tangle of blood vessels that was causing problems. The surgery was successful, but he needs monitoring during recovery. Catherine stood up. And your child care fell through today? Yes, my neighbor who usually watches him is ill. I had no other options. So you brought him to work because the alternative was leaving an 8-year-old who just had brain Surgery alone at home? Yes. Catherine turned to Morrison. And you fired her for this? Suspended, Morrison corrected. And it's company policy. No children in the workplace. A policy designed to prevent disruption and liability, Catherine said. Tell me, Richard, was this child disrupting anything? Was he running through the halls, interrupting meetings, making noise? No, but nothing. He was sitting quietly in a conference room while his mother worked. A mother who, I note, has been with this company for 15 years with an exemplary record. Morrison's jaw tightened. Company policy exists for a reason. And company policy can be modified when it conflicts with basic human decency, Catherine said. She turned back to Jennifer. Miss Collins, I'm sorry you were treated this way. You are not suspended. In fact, I'd like you to come back to work. Today. Right now. Jennifer blinked, certain she'd misheard. What? Come back to work. Bring Ryan. We'll make sure he has a comfortable space. And we'll start working on a better solution for situations like this. Ms. Chen, Morrison said, his voice tight with barely controlled anger. As regional director, I have to object to